and welcome back to Be Still and Know. I am so grateful that you've come back to my video and to my channel. I am so happy that you have chosen to watch this video. Hopefully it can be encouraging. Hopefully it can be something that lifts your spirits and encourages you. They really are designed to do that. And I also am encouraged by it because I remind myself when I do these videos of how great things are going. Even during all the frustrations and all the things that are hard, it's so great to see some stuff going on. So anyway, I would like you to subscribe. If you could subscribe to my channel, that would be great. I would love that. And if you do that, then you'll get notifications when I put a new video up, but also maybe it'll push it out to other people so I can encourage other people also with these videos. And if you enjoy it, then it'd be great if someone else could enjoy it. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. It's really been an amazing week, hasn't it? I mean, really what Scotus has done. And my last video, I was talking about how hard it's been just waiting and seeing these things just trickle out, and how I felt it's a brilliant plan that they've been doing things that, I mean, you sit back and you know what's going on and you see what's going on in the media and you're like, oh, I can't believe they did that. Yes, because, you know, back in the previous president, when all those illegal things were happening and they were getting away with it left and right, and the frustrations we would have. But now, I mean, you can't doubt it. The white hats are in control. They are totally in control. And they're showing us that, especially since that 17th letter of the alphabet started posting again. So that's encouraging. That's encouraging. I tell you, the best is yet to come. So anyway, I really want to talk about what Scotus has done in the last week or so. And I've written down all the things so I don't forget them. But think about it, okay? You don't have to get a special reason to get a concealed carry. That's awesome. That's awesome. What was the other thing? Oh, yes. That coach that wanted to pray with his team, I think that was it. And the Scotus said he can do that. It's okay. And then, of course, Roe versus Wade. Amazing, right? And what was the one? Oh, citizens that are people who are not citizens can't vote. Go figure, really? Like, you have to vote on that? But yes. So this is encouraging because this means that this stuff is happening. It's happening. We're watching it happen. It may not be happening, like I said, as fast as we'd like it to, but it is happening in God's timing. God knows. And the people that are in charge are just connecting with God and working with God. God is guiding them. And we just really have to trust that. And we have to keep praying about that. Okay? And being encouraged. We got to keep our vibrations high. We have to keep being joyful and happy, because that feeds to the people around us. And if we're happy and exuding that, they're going to feel it, and it's like a sneeze or a yawn. It's contagious. So just keep doing that, because it's going to raise the vibrations of the people around us. And that's really important. When we're joyful and we're laughing, they can't help but be happy and to laugh. In fact, I have just an example of that. I was at the store, I was at Lowe's, and I was in a good mood, and I was looking for something, and this man came up to me and says, hey, can I help you? And I said, yes, you can. I'm looking for this. And he's like, oh, okay, let's go look. And I'm like, okay. And so we went together, and sometimes I might just say, oh, no, I'm fine. But I was in a good mood. I liked the company, and he was being helpful, and he seemed really nice. And we get to the thing that I'm looking for, and we talk about it, and I said, I don't know. But so he said, I really like your energy. And I was like, well, thanks. And because he liked my energy, he was helping me so much. He carried my stuff to the register, and he's like, hey, maybe you should think about this. And it was amazing. This is a perfect stranger that, because I was in a good mood and I allowed him into my circle, into my energy, into my happiness, I was able to affect him. And he even said again, you are just, I love how you are. I love your energy. And I think that that interchange gave him energy and probably lifted his spirits. And it made me happy that I felt like I'd done something for someone else just because I was in a good mood. And I know that is so important. And we need to do that even in our own homes. Just walk around your house and laugh, even if nobody's home, because that energy fills your house. And it just makes it a happy place. And we need that. We need that because so many people right now are suffering. And some of that suffering has a lot to do with what was overturned. And we're rejoicing. We're rejoicing because we know that evil has just been cut down again. And it's just more and more evil is going to continue to be cut down. And this is probably the biggest evidence we've had so far that the 17th letter of the alphabet and all that stuff is real and it's happening. Because I'll tell you, years ago when I would, discuss this particular abortion and stuff with people, and I would say, you just got to be consistent. I mean, if you believe in it, you believe in it. Why is it okay to do it if someone has been assaulted, but it's not, okay for you to do it in this? I mean, you have to be consistent. It's either okay or it's not. And for me, it was not, even in the case of assault, because I felt like the baby is innocent. And yes, we have to deal with things in our lives that aren't great, but that's what makes us grow. And there's some people that don't want to hear that. And there's always that law. That law was always there. And I would despair because I'd be like, how do you get past that? I mean, you just say, yeah, well, not all laws are great. But, some people stop at that. They think if it's a law, then it must be okay. So anyway, you hope that you're teaching your family and your kids and your the people that are significant to you things that are good. But this world has been inundating our youth and the people that have so much compassion. They've been inundating them with a false compassion. They have turned it upside down. They've made them believe that it was more about women's rights and their health issues, and it's not. So for the last 50 years, we've been brainwashed in this society by that evil, controlling group that if you don't believe that it's okay to do these procedures, then you don't believe that women have rights for health and all of that. Like, you don't believe in women's rights. And that's ridiculous. That's completely ridiculous because it's like apples and oranges, but you can't tell them that because it's so ingrained in them now. And it's been so taught in the society. If you say something enough, people are going to believe that. There are so many other ways that people can get, or women can get health care or whatever. I knew a girl when I was in 8th grade who was on her 6th abortion because that's what they were using it for. And that's wrong. And most people would agree that that's wrong. But then when it becomes an inconvenience, when that's okay, well, the child will have a terrible life. It's like, well, you're not even giving them a chance to life. So anyway, there's lots and lots of different arguments. And we have to understand that this society has been completely brainwashed. They're not evil people because they believe this. They believe they're being compassionate. They're having compassion for the woman. We need to redirect that. We need to teach the society that the baby is a baby. And how do you do that? I don't know. You pray about it. You talk about the baby like it's a baby. Now, that's easier said than done, but I am not going to lose hope because I know that this is just opening up conversations, which is great. Think about that. It's actually opening up conversations. We, as a people who are happy about this, can't go into these discussions with anger or judgment, no matter who it is. If it's our pastors, if it's anybody, we're in a society of tiptoeing around issues, and certain people have set up a situation where there are so many things that you can't talk about in a certain way, because if you do, then you are demonified, right? Or vilified, made to look like a demon. Demonified. I made a new word, but anyway, you know what I mean. So we have to remember to love our neighbor. They're trying to, with this thing that's wonderful, they're trying to create division again. So I did have a discussion with someone about that too. And I said, look, I know you're really upset about this, because they came to me when they heard my opinion about it and told me how upset they were about it. And so I said, look, let's discuss it. No judgment. You tell me what you believe. That's fine. I mean, I've already had a discussion like this. And I kept my cool. And I just listened to them with compassion, understanding that they have been taught for so long these lies. And so the first lie, this person was terrified. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. What's going to happen to all these women now that can't have abortions? And I'm like, well, all these babies are going to live, is what I'm thinking. But I don't say that, because that is a trigger. So I just said, well, why are you afraid? What are you afraid is going to happen? Well, and the argument was, well, if they are in danger because of their health, because they're pregnant, then this baby's going to kill them. I said, no. Let's get realistic here. When a woman is pregnant and she's got a high-risk pregnancy, or this pregnancy is causing harm to her body, there is always a discussion with the doctor, okay? And the doctor will say, we can do this, this, and this. Are you willing to do that? It could damage your baby. Something could happen to the baby. There's always a discussion. And honestly, I mean, I can't say for sure. I'd have to do research on this. But I think that they would go with the woman's choice. And not that they would abort the baby, but they would do the procedure. And if the baby is lost in that, that's a shame. But the baby could survive it. So they use this as a fallacy. They're always going to go for the woman's health. That's just what they're going to do. They're going to make the best choice. So that right up is a fallacy. It's a falsehood, a straw man argument, which I explained to them what that meant. So I said, okay, apart from that, the next thing would be if they were assaulted and then they got pregnant. And of course, there's this vigorous yes. And I said, well, that is something that's very difficult. And yes, that person might have a really hard time dealing with what happened to them and then the result of that. And I said, but the baby's innocent. The baby is innocent. And maybe we need to make sure that this person gets counseling. But, that is a hard thing. But also another thing about that particular situation is that is so few and far between. That the percentage of people getting pregnant from assaults with all the abortions that happen is so low. It's so low. So anyway, so I said, I can't completely distill that argument, but you need to look into the statistics there. And then there was the, trying to think of all the arguments that were brought up. I can't remember them all, but it'll probably come to me. One of the things I said to them is, and this is a new thing you'll learn about me. They knew that I remembered when I was in my mother's womb. I have memories of that. They're my earliest memories, and not everybody has them, but I absolutely do. And so as I was talking to this person, I said, you know that I have those memories? And they said, yes. I said, do you want to know what I remember? I remember being in a warm place. I remember feeling love. I remember feeling safety. I had all those emotions, all those feelings going on. And not only that, I was me. I still think the same way as I did when I remember being in my mother's womb as I do now. I'm that same person. If you think about it, when you were little, you felt things a certain way and you thought a certain way. That's your consciousness. That's the soul, the creation that God created. And that doesn't change as you get older. Your body changes. We are spiritual beings living a human life, a human existence. That's the blessing that we have. But we don't change. Who we are inside never changes. So when I was in my mother's womb, I felt all these things. I was that person. And I remember that. I don't know how old I was. I don't. I have no idea. But I do know at one point in these memories, I had my eyes because I could see, and what I saw was just like red. It was like red glowing, kind of like looking through a cloth or something, because I was obviously inside my mother's womb, and it was like light coming in, and I just saw, this redness, this red glow, and I'm assuming that's what that was. And I've had this memory my whole life, and it's clicked as I've gotten older that that's what that memory was, as I realized what it could be. And then I have a memory of being born, and that's a very vivid memory. I just remember it was bright white, and I was very cold, and I was mad. I mean, I was mad, really mad. But I also remember that lasted for a very short period of time, because I must have been, wrapped up. And I was actually, when I was born, I was 4.5 pounds. I had a twin sister. And I was born 15 minutes after her, and I was breech. And so they had a lot of difficulty getting me out. And I almost died. I was in an incubator for 6 to 8 weeks, I think, recovering from that. My sister was fine. And she was smaller than me, but I had a lot of difficulty from that very, very difficult delivery. I don't remember that part of it, but I do remember being really mad. So they probably whisked me off pretty quickly. So anyway, there's that memory. And I said to this person, I said, I have that memory. And that means I was in my mom's womb. And that means if you believe that this procedure is okay, then I would have been, if that had been okay and my mother had chosen that, this person that existed, this very unique individual, would have been wiped off the face of the earth, would have been murdered. I want you to think about that. And there's got to be a lot more people that have that memory. And I think as this veil between God and us, because like I've said before, I believe that we are getting closer and closer to the end times, or we are in the end times, but closer and closer to the final event, whatever that's going to be. I think more and more people are going to remember that. I think that if they really search in their souls, that some people are going to start remembering that, and they start sharing that. And if people do have that memory, they need to share that. They need to talk about just the whole development of the baby. All this stuff has been repressed. And the reason it's been repressed is because they didn't want us to know how powerful we were and how powerful God is in us. I mean, God indwells us. I know I say that over and over again. If God indwells us, then all that is God is in us. And we have access to all that power. In fact, in church, we're going to be singing this week, the same power that rose Jesus from the dead, the same power that moved mountains lives in us. I can't emphasize that enough. So that power in us is the Holy Spirit, is God, can tell us these things. And we just have to pray and really seek those answers. So anyway, I'm going into existential stuff, but true believers, don't forget that power. Believers in God, anybody who believes in God, don't forget. Because that evidence of who God is it's going to make other people want to know what's going on with you. We know that from just the whole idea of witnessing to people. You can't tell people to believe in God. You got to show them. And who says sometimes you can't tell them, you have to show them. And that's exactly what's going on. It's all coming together. It's all converging. So anyway, so that's what I have to say about that specific topic, except that I do want to say that we are going to have people that disagree. They're going to have people that disagree with us, but we have to continuously approach it in love. We don't have to preach it and tell them that they're wrong, or try to explain to them how bad their thoughts are, or they're wrong about believing this. And they have to come to that on their own. And the only way that that's going to happen is through love and through just talking to them. And sometimes you have to be silent. You don't want to sit there and jump up and down and say how great this is when you know you're surrounded by people that are devastated by it. You have to make sure you're aware of your circumstances, because you don't want to burn bridges. We want to make sure those bridges stay open so that we are still able to talk to these people. Now, I've said this before, like my whole family's asleep. Most of the people I know are asleep. My family really doesn't want me to talk about any of this. I'm not just this awakening stuff, any of this awakening stuff. It makes them uncomfortable, it makes them anxious. And so I don't talk about it. And I think we've been getting along a lot better. And some people might say that I'm living a lie. I'm not really living a lie. I'm just using my discernment and thinking of them above myself. I'm thinking of them above myself, because I am sacrificing things so that they're able to still maintain a relationship with me. Every now and then I'll throw out a bone, but when I see that the anxiety comes back, I have to pull it back. And that's not my job. God is going to teach them what they need to know, and they're going to learn that I'm someone that they can talk to. And that, I believe, is true, and that is what I pray for. So don't be discouraged, especially when you have to start talking to people about what's happened with Scotus this week. It's exciting. You know, we talk about it being the best time in human history, and I really believe it is. And some of you may not know that. Some of you may be new to all of this. What's going to happen is amazing. And I did talk a bit about the event that's supposed to happen. And it's so funny, because as I was doing that, I thought of the scripture where I pulled it up here. And it came to mind, because what's going to happen, like if it's that solar flash thing or whatever it is that's supposed to happen, that's going to be seen throughout the entire world, the whole world's going to see this. Jesus said when he comes back, everybody's going to see this. And that is what's going to happen. And I'm looking at this in a flash, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, where the trumpet will sound and the dead will rise, the imperishable, and we will be changed. Now, a lot of these esoteric people and these people that are talking about this, this solar flash that's supposed to be coming, because there is a solar flash that's coming. I mean, who knows what it's going to be like, but a lot of people think that that might have something to do with what this big event is going to be. And then there's people that talk about, okay, so we have all this DNA in our bodies, and the controllers have told us that we only use 10%, and then there's like 90% of it that's redundant. Well, God doesn't make anything redundant. So some of these people, and I'm not saying I believe this, I don't know what I believe, but some of them believe that this flash is going to be one of the things that's going to activate that DNA, and that these things that we weren't able to do before, things that some people can do, like read minds or cause things to move, whatever. Okay, that might sound kind of crazy to you, but there's people that actually can do these things. There's evidence of it. But anyway, that we all have that ability in us. That's not ungodly at all. God created us miraculously, and these controllers have poisoned us. They have created a situation, removed information so that we don't search and look for the truths within us. God's in us. We need to search for that God. God is in us. They don't want us to know our emotions. They don't want us to know our feelings. They want us to just think. And then they give us this Bible and they go, okay, yeah, so we took away 600 books, but this is good enough. It's like, yeah, God is a powerful God, and he's told us what we need to know. And that's why we know what we know. But there's so much more that we don't know. And I'm so excited for when we learn that. But when I look at this, in a flash, in a twinkling of the eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet will sound and the dead will be raised, imperishable, and we will be changed. That's 1 Corinthians 15:52. You can look it up in lots of different translations, but this one is the NIV that I'm reading. That could be a solar flash. Who knows? I mean, it's going to happen very quickly, and it's going to happen all over the world, and that's actually biblical. So we're going to have to continue to be patiently endurance with patience, patient endurance. We're going to have to keep doing that. And we need to love. Keep our energy high. Don't despair in the stuff we're hearing in mainstream media. Oh, why is this happening? Why can't we? Don't worry about it. We know God wins, and we are right at the finish line, you guys. So we just have to be excited. You know how this story ends, right? You know. So why are you despairing? Bad things are going to happen. Yes, 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 yes. Bad things have been happening since the beginning of time. And I can't say that that's not going to affect us, but we have to shake it off. And remember, God has won. And that regardless of what happens, it's in God's will and His timing. Be encouraged. Don't be afraid. It's awesome. What's happening is awesome. And the most amazing thing is we will be changed. He has promised that. He has promised that to us. And so like that last one of those videos I talked about with the rapture and stuff, I mean, and I showed some of the untruths in the Bible that, not untruths in the Bible, but untruths in what's been interpreted from the Bible. It's like, no. We need to go in our souls, in ourselves, pray to God and ask for the truth to be spoken to us by Him who is in us. So what is He telling you that means? I mean, when I used to do a Bible study, it's called Bible Study Fellowship, and that was one of the things that they did. They said, read scripture, don't talk to anybody about it. Think about what you're reading, answer these questions. And when we're done discussing it with a whole bunch of other people, then we can go and listen to what other people have to say. Because we're supposed to listen to God first, and He speaks to us. And as that veil is thinning, as I've talked about with the apocalypse is that veil is going to be pulled back, and that truth is going to be revealed, and things that are unknown will be known. It's all coming in this great big circle. Do you see that? It's all making sense. It's so biblical. So the veil is thinning and thinning and thinning. And those of us that are awake, if we really dig deep and pray and meditate and speak to God, He's going to talk to us. And He's going to tell us what is real, what is truth. So that's awesome. But you also need to research too. Don't forget, research. Look into that book of Enoch. That's pretty amazing. You know, if God leads you to that book, that's great. If He leads you to another book in the Bible that's not one you've read much, go to it, because He's trying to speak to you and He speaks to your heart. So, I feel like I'm just going on and on. All right. Let me just say, it has been an amazing week. It's been a wonderful week that has proven to us that we're going over that hump. We're going over that hump. The end is so close. God has won. He lives in us. The truth is going to be revealed, and it's going to be revealed in a way that most people are going to be safe. There's going to be some upheaval. There's just going to be upheaval. But they're trying to release it in a way that there's as little damage as possible. And we can handle it, okay? Let's not be frustrated. We can handle it because we know what's going on, all right? So let's pray for the people that don't and be there for them. And keep that energy up, all right? Because that is the most important thing that we need to do, is just keep that energy up. Listen to people. Don't judge them. Don't judge them. When I studied Revelations, that was the one thing that just struck me over and over again. And if you ever read Revelations or study it, I don't know, I think everybody gets something different. Every time we read the Bible, we get something different out of the verses. It's not something contradictory, but something different, because it's the living Word of God. But in Revelations, when I studied it the last time, what I got was God does not want us to judge other people. That just hit me over the head over and over again, that was just the worst thing that we can do. And I think in these times right now, it is the worst thing that we can do, is to judge people. They have been misinformed. They have been lied to. We have been lied to. And we only know a teeny bit, because that veil has not been completely pulled back yet. We are in the right direction, but that veil, when it comes, everything's going to be revealed. In a twinkling of an eye, we will understand what's going on. And we will know probably more than we want to know. But we are also going to have that power of God in us to help us navigate that. We're going to have friends. We are going to be those friends that help people get through that. So anyway, this is kind of a controversial video, so I hope that it goes out there well. And I do pray because I prayed to God before I started that he would lead me into the truths I needed to speak about, because I don't really write anything down before I sit and talk. That's probably why I ramble a lot. I just kind of have a feeling that it's time to do a video, and things start to happen, and I start to write things down, and then I don't look at them now. I just write them down and think about them. And I really think that this is something we need to understand. Love, love, love. Love everybody. It's never wrong to love. And don't judge. Just listen. Just listen to them. And know your truth so well. Know your truths about this so well. And remember, these people, they believe what they believe because they're compassionate. So work on that compassion and redirect it to the baby. To the baby. Okay? Maybe that'll help. All right, so I'm done. I'm going to let you go, and have a wonderful day. And thanks again for listening to my video. Good night.